program already in progress.
On air again. Thank you for having me back on air. I was booby-trapped. I knew it was you, Kate. I knew it was you, Jim, Dusty Barker, whatever your name. And I knew it was you too, Davis, and you too, Troy. I'm just happy to be back. HR is going to hear about this when I get back to Toronto.
Hope you enjoyed your barbecue, Milt.
Milt, is glad to have you back. Yeah, I tell you what, it's good to see football being played again. And it was all hands on deck for those boatmen. And what a win for them on the road in a tough place to play in McMahon Stadium.
Now, the game that is coming up, as Rod mentioned, that was the first of our doubleheader. We've got the Edmonton Elks, still getting used to saying that, taking on the Ottawa REDBLACKS, a very youthful team, coached by a man we know very well that used to be on this panel, Paul LaPolice. We have Mike Benavides is there as well, and Matt Nichols, a guy that he knows oh so well with his days back in Winnipeg. On the flip side, you have Andrew Harris back with Elizondo as well. So just a quarterbacking matchup, a lot of veteran experience here, Coach.
Yeah, this is exciting because Matt Dunnigan's talked about it all week. Jamie Elizondo coming back with guys that he knows. It's going to be it's kind of like what we just watched with Ryan Dinwiddie having all those guys from Calgary. That's what's kind of happened here with Jamie getting all these guys from Ottawa.
The law firm of Betts and Boateng, the two defensive ends, Canadians, you rarely see that. I'm excited to see these two guys in a dominant, athletic, American-dominated position. Two Canadians start tonight. I'm biased. I hope they ball the heck out.
I'm never one to say that coaches win games, but these Ottawa REDBLACKS are going to depend on their coaches heavily. They're young, especially on offense. They have 6 guys who are playing their first CFL game. Paul LaPolice, we know how creative he can be. He's going to really need to be creative. Coach Benny on defense is going to help out that offense also. And, of course, Bobby Dice, their special teams coordinator, he's going to have to create some field position for that offense. So these coaches are going to have to have a big impact if these Ottawa REDBLACKS want to win this game.
Yeah, Milt, a lot of talk about Trevor Harris and the receiving corps. I'm interested in James Wild Jr. and Terry Williams and see how they're going to be incorporated in this offense, and Jamie Elizondo, how he's going to deploy those two guys. Whether or not James Wild Jr. can recapture what he had several years ago. He's a big athletic target and running back, and I expect to see him all over the football field.
So you have the veteran experience over on the Elks side, but Coach, on the REDBLACK side, I mean, there's a lot of youth on this team. Matt Nichols, yes, has the experience, but when you look at a ton of the other positions, I mean, this might be a little bit of a learning curve for this team, couldn't it be?
Well, I was going through putting their roster together. R.J. Harris was the only name I recognized, and it was pretty amazing in that receiving corps. So they lost a couple of offensive linemen, so their offensive line's young. Paul has his work cut out for him.
Well, he can do it. We all know he certainly can. Benny there as well. Now, meanwhile, it's time to antler up. Gotta love those new helmets. Gotta love those new T-shirts. Obviously, we've got everyone excited in Edmonton about the Elks. The REDBLACKS are young, but we'll see what they can do. In the meantime, here is Stephen Lee Olsen with the song of the season.
We need a name. We've taken our time to make sure we got it right, and we know we did.
The Edmonton Elks.
Some people love it and think it's fantastic.
A new name, a new head coach.
The Ottawa REDBLACKS, maybe at the bottom of the league.
I think more than any other year, the preseason rankings mean absolutely nothing.
Fermina Morocco of Edmonton, Alberta. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for a touchdown in this game, you could win $1 million. Let's go to Commonwealth and join Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Suter.
Stayed here to build our circuit after they took off down.
Welcome to Commonwealth Stadium, where tonight we witness a new era of Edmonton football as the Elks take to the field for the first time. It's a new brand for the home side and a reset for the visiting REDBLACKS. They have a new head coach, a new quarterback, and new hopes for the 2021 season, as it's the REDBLACKS and the Elks here on a Saturday night at Commonwealth. Glenn?
Former Ottawa REDBLACKS quarterback Trevor Harris is in year 2 here in Edmonton as the starter. He is reunited with his former OC from Ottawa, and start number 79 for Trevor Harris. He's in shape and ready to start the season. The other sideline, 34-year-old Matt Nichols started his career here in Edmonton, then moved to Winnipeg, and in 5 years was an integral part of building a championship team in Winnipeg. This is year one in Ottawa. A new team, but a very familiar face as his head coach.
And there he is, Paul LaPolice. First game that he's been a head coach since August 24th, 2012. So it's been a long time, but obviously a lot of success in Winnipeg. And on the other side, 23rd head coach in the history of this franchise, making his head coaching CFL debut, Jamie Elizondo. And it is almost time for kickoff here at Commonwealth Suits. I know you've already done a couple of games this weekend, but I'm excited. This is my first one. Here we go.
I am too, after over 600 days without Canadian football. Hey, keep bringing them on. I'm loving it.
651 days since the last game here at Commonwealth Stadium. Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Suter with you as Hugh O'Neill is ready to kick this away from his own 35. And the Elks are underway at home here against the Red Blacks. And that'll be taken at the 15 and brought back up over the 30 on the return towards the 35. And we'll get a look at Matt Nichols as he trots out onto the field.
45-28 in his career. Last year, 7-2 with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, or not last year, but in 2019, 7-2, and got them off to a great start. That's why I mentioned an integral part to building that championship team. Probably doesn't get near enough credit for leading that offense until the arrival of Zach Collaros.
Red Blacks will start this season from their own 34. Nichols, he's going to keep it. He's going to scramble ahead up to about the 41. Let's take a look at your starting lineups tonight, brought to you by Expedia.
A couple familiar names in the starting lineup. You look up front, you see Mark Cordy at center, McMillan, you know, Rogers off the edge, or at the tackle position. RJ Harris, familiar face for the Ottawa Red Black fans, and then a couple of newcomers. Timothy Flanders will be the starting tailback for Ottawa.
Second and 4 for Ottawa. Nichols again looks to the wide side of the field, and that one comes up short as he was looking for Ryan Davis, making his debut here in the Canadian Football League.
Take a look at that Elks defense. That's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but Matthew Betts looks real good. Had a tremendous camp. Of course, Kwaku Boateng has had tremendous production in his last 2 years. Completely new linebacking core, and there's your secondary. A couple familiar faces for CFL fans. Aaron Grimes back in Edmonton. Jonathan Rose and Jonathan Mincy on the corners.
O'Neill let it fly from his own 30. Terry Williams waiting for it, a guy that they're very excited about here in Edmonton in the return game, and a flag flies as he takes it at his 20, and they'll turn things over now to Trevor Harris.
The interesting about Trevor Harris, of course, the former Ottawa Red Black quarterback, over 4,000 yards, but in this matchup between these two teams that Harris has played in 5 times as a Red Black, once against Ottawa as an Edmonton Elks from 2019, he has not lost. 6-0 in those games where these two teams have played each other.
We had a chance to chat with Harris earlier in the week, and he is fired up about this receiving core that he's been handed this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's thrown for 4,000 yards in a season with 3 different organizations, and there's a look at Trevor Harris, ready to be back on the field. He's going to have trips to his left here as they scrimmage from the 38. They'll hand it off to James Wilder Jr., and Jr. will push ahead, and a pretty good pickup on the ground. He's still going. And he gets out over the 50. What a second effort from James Wilder, who they've been raving about since he joined the Elks here in camp.
Really have, and Jamie Elizondo told us in our Zoom call with him that I asked him about James Wilder. Is the Wilder that started in that rookie year in Toronto and had all the production that he had, or it sort of dwindled away? And he said, oh, he's become a leader in this group.
Excellent first impression there for Wilder. Here's Harris. He's going to swing it out on the near side to Darrell Walker. Back in Edmonton for a 3rd stint with the organization. Gets it right up to midfield, but there is a flag on the play on Walker's first catch of the evening.
Just one of the many weapons for Trevor Harris. Trevor Harris in this game can play point guard.
Face mask. Ottawa, number 14. 15 yards at the end of the play, automatic, first down.
Just watch the left side of your television screen or computer or iPhone or iPad or whatever you're watching us on. Face mask there by Kenna, Abdul Kenna on the trying to close on the tackle.
That'll move the Elks up to the 39 of Ottawa. Far side again. That's Darrell Walker again. And Walker will push ahead. And another good first down pickup here as we'll take a look at the Elks offense here this evening.
Got to give a lot of credit to Brock Sunderland, the GM for the Elks. In the missed season and then off season, he's got familiar faces up front. Matt O'Donnell, the veteran at guard, 9 years in the Canadian Football League. Look at the weapons. If they can get James Wilder Jr. back to that rookie year type of production, Darrell Walker, Greg Ellingson, top targets for Trevor Harris.
2nd and 3 for Harris. He's going to keep it. And he throws it out on the right side. That is Shai Ross, who has really come into camp this year. And anybody you talk to around this organization has nothing but great things to say about this former Manitoba Bison.
Yeah, he's got some work to do to start to get sort of the attention that the guys around him are going to get right out of the gate, like Darrell Walker and Greg Ellingson, because of their resumes. But he has had a tremendous camp, and one of those guys, and I've been saying it all week, one of those guys that the coach brings up before you ask. Volunteers it.
From the 24, this time they'll tuck it into the belly of Wilder, and he pushes it straight up the gut, and this Elks offense looks pretty good here in the early going.
Cleon Lang wasn't real happy with his rankings in the top 50, 45th in that group. Take a look at the linebacking core. Avery Williams is their leader, Micah Awe, the hammer, and then in the secondary, you led by Antoine Pernot at safety, and a guy who is so versatile and so valuable to that defense over the years in Ottawa.
Pernot, one of 3 guys from that original team back in 2014, still on this roster. Now here's Wilder Jr. again, and he'll push it ahead. That's a first down for the Elks as they creep towards the Red Blacks 10. And Glenn, you've done all these games already this weekend. We've seen some offenses have success really early in football games, and this is Edmonton doing it again.
Very impressive, and and not surprising. I mean, remember, this is Trevor Harris back with his former offensive coordinator Jamie Elizondo, who's now the head coach with the Elks, but was the OC in Ottawa with Harris. So they pick up right where they left off in their playbook, and it's showing. But I've been impressed with all the teams' first drives and first quarters.
1st and 10 from the Ottawa 11. Here's Harris. He's going to look to the end zone. No, just out of bounds. He had Mike Jones in behind the defense, and Jones just could not get his foot in. The crowd here was ready to explode.
So close, because he did a nice job of maintaining body control. He had to twist back and catch it over the back shoulder. That's where Trevor Harris had to put it because of the defenders inside. But watch him try to gather it up, get that foot down. No, just on the white stripe. Only need one, but it's got to be the first one that touches. He's in the air now. Left foot, first down.
We're 2nd and 10 now from the 11 for Harris. He'll have Wilder in behind him. 2 targets to his right. Harris. Wilder trying to push ahead, and the Red Blacks are going to stop him at the 5. Wilder last year, or 2019, we should say, did have 4 receiving touchdowns, so they probably mixed him in a little bit out of the backfield.
Well, he is so versatile, and he's being told now he's got a bit of a dress code violation. He had that jersey tucked in, showing his abs. And I was thinking about doing that in the booth today, but I decided not to.
Yeah, and I never thought about it at all, so I'll leave that up to you.
But he's got the abs he could show, but the official said, no, you got to let that jersey go down there.
Sean White out for the chip shot, and Sean White fires it home. And the Elks with a 3-0 lead, a pretty impressive first drive from Edmonton. A chance for that man, Matt Nichols, to answer back with his team trailing 3-0 early in the first.
We don't. Matt Nichols has a tremendous winning percentage. And, I know a lot throughout the years have said he's a quarterback that sort of manages the offense, and I don't think it's fair. I think quarterbacks you're asking your quarterback to win games for you, to lead you to wins, and that's a tremendous winning percentage, 45 and 28. And was crucial in building the right culture in Winnipeg, helping to build the right culture there, which ended in a championship in 19 for the Bombers. And he started out 4-0 that season, was hurt in the 9th game, and was 7-2 when he handed the reins over to Chris Strebler and Zach Collaros. So, he hasn't got a lot of credit for it, but I think he was crucial in building the culture.
He's never lost against Edmonton since he left Edmonton. So that's on the line here tonight as well, as the return from Devontae Dedmon gets them up and over the 30. And there's Nichols in this offense coming back onto the field looking for an answer here against the Elks, who have a 3-0 cushion.
Similar situation to Trevor Harris and Jamie Elizondo too, because Paul LaPolice, of course, the offensive coordinator in Winnipeg for all those years, working with Matt Nichols. So during the canceled season and then the off season, these coaches and quarterbacks in this game tonight spent a lot of time sort of reacquainting themselves with that playbook they worked with.
I'll hand it off to Timothy Flanders. Flanders gets it up, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. As the Elks D-line there, Jake Serezna in the thick of it.
Well, I'm interested to watch Kwaku Boateng all year. I know he's a little bit nicked, coming out of camp a little bit nicked, but he's been on that injured list sort of as questionable at times. But he's in the game tonight, starting tonight. I think you look at his last 3 years, 21 sacks. Can he get to the double-digit sack number? That's what I'm wondering. He's got the skills.
Some early movement there. Nichols, speaking of the new injury reports, he was listed as questionable all week as well with the right shoulder. Obviously, it's been a long journey for him just to get back here.
Ottawa, number 63. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but and again, it's a very small silver lining on what we've all gone through over the last year and a half. But for football players that were hurt in 19, and some seriously hurt in 19, boy, it gave them a whole year and a half to rehab it. And a lot of these guys have been, 100% healthy physically coming into camp this year like they never have before.
4 options to the right here for Nichols. R.J. Harris by himself up top. He's going to come across the field. Pressure here on Nichols. He gets away, but a second crack at him. And they will take him down. We were just talking about him. Kwaku Boateng first on the scene.
Serezna's in there too. Kwaku Boateng, I think, was causing all the damage. Pocket just collapsed. Really, the entire front four closing that pocket down on Matt Nichols.
Keep us off the field, keep Will.
No need to let it fly from about his own 12. Williams backpedaling. Looked like he almost stumbled, but he'll take it at the 27. Here's Williams now, and he's got nowhere to go as he gets gobbled up just inside his own 30. It is the newly named Edmonton Elks with a 3-0 lead. Led his team on a point-scoring drive, and their first possession ended up with the 3-point cushion, and obviously an excellent career so far.
Yeah, over 22,000 yards passing and 120 touchdowns. Good touchdown-interception ratio. He's a timing passer, anticipates his receivers' breaks, gets the ball out of his hands quickly. 1-2, bang, gone.
Darrell Walker in and out of his hands.
Took a peek.
That one will fall incomplete. He did kind of look to his right there, didn't he?
Yes, he did. It happens to the best of them, especially early in the season. It's just that split second when you're trying to find a little seam, little slant here, and watch the peak upfield just as the ball is about to hit his hands. Fundamentals, kids. Got to lock it in, make sure. See that little peek to the right?
Harris was 4 for 5 on the opening drive. 2 of those completions to Darrell Walker. He's got 11 yards so far. Here's Harris. Pressure coming, and they got him at the 20. He is taken down. Micah Alway had a clear path to the Elks quarterback.
Yeah, and Micah Alway is a hitter. He's a striker. But I think he has come such a long way since his days in BC early in his CFL career, where he took a lot of penalties in cases like this where he would just deliver on a quarterback with a free shot. But he has come a long way into understanding you can still tackle hard and be physical, but stay away from those really hard sort of headshots.
Here's Hugh O'Neill. And this kick will come down midfield. Dedmon's got it, and he'll lunge ahead. And the Red Blacks will have their best field position so far here in this young season. When we return, they trail 3-0. Edmonton, he's been in Winnipeg now. He's the quarterback of the Ottawa Redblacks. For more on Matt Nichols, let's send it down to Ryan Rashad.
Yeah, Dustin, thank you. In talking to Matt Nichols heading into the season, you notice a bit of a change in his headspace. Suits was talking earlier about a guy that maybe doesn't get the credit he deserves for the work he's put in and the impact that he's had. He's had his share of detractors and critics. He admits in the past he would have let that fuel him. The change, guys, he now says he's not trying to prove detractors wrong. He's trying to prove people who believe in him right. Subtle shift in the way he's been thinking, but he's gotten a lot of support from some allies among other quarterbacks in the league. And it's not focusing on the negative. It's about being positive, and it's a maturing process for a guy that's been in the league now for some time and accomplished a fair amount.
Thank you very much, Ryan. His last 4 seasons, he's 37-16 as a starting quarterback. Those are pretty good numbers.
Well, they are. It's a great winning percentage. In fact, it's a winning percentage that if you look at the top 10 quarterbacks in CFL history, Matt Nichols' winning percentage compares to the top 5.
Second and 6 year, a little bit of a draw. And Timothy Flanders, who had the positive yardage on first down, gets 1 or 2 more here. That'll bring up third down with that ball sitting on the Elks 47.
Keep some balance in the offense. Timothy Flanders with the
Richie Leone out there on the field. Looks like they're going to...
Just on that bubble distance, isn't it?
Yeah. We were thinking they might take a crack at it, but looks like Leone's going to kick. He stands on his 50.
Very little to no wind here.
This kick is up, end over end. Comes down in a couple of bounces. Flag will fly. It is eventually scooped up on the far side of the field by Williams, who got all the way over there. As we'll get another look here at this Elks offense. A lot of success for the Edmonton football organization, and obviously a big night here with transitioning from one name to another, as they are now the Elks. And we saw this prior to kickoff tonight, as a handful of the current Edmonton Elks had the flag, went over. There's a great section of alumni here tonight, Suits, and they kind of did. It wasn't too extravagant, but a nice little transition between brands.
Outstanding. I love it. A little bit of the history. Eskimos handing it over to the new name and the Elks and the new team, and that guy just pointed out he has more punt return touchdowns in Canadian Football League history than all the returners in the league today, and the returners over the last 5 years are probably more. If you added all those return touchdowns up, I'm not sure it makes the total for the Giz, because that guy could fly. The best punt returner in football, period. I don't care what league you're talking about. That was the best kick returner in the game of football.
I golfed with Giz a couple years ago. I think he's told me he could probably still run a 4.540 because he's still absolutely
well, he looks the same. He did. But interesting, though, that the Elks, I mean, and if you haven't seen it or if you haven't heard, and this is your first game, looking at CFL football again, there was a long process. There were lots of name choices: Elks, Eagles, Evergreens, Evergolds, Eclipse. I like the Elk Hounds, and I like the Eagles, and I like the Elks. Those were my 3 favorite. Kind of leaning to the Eagles. They decided to go with the Elks, and I love it.
2nd and 6 here for Harris. Tried to dump it off. Bounced up in the air. Dangerous for a second before falling harmlessly to the turf.
But you know what's, I think my favorite, Dustin, is look at the helmets. I love the helmets.
It's a good look.
You're right?
Yeah, it's a good look. Actually, that's one of the things, being in this market, the reaction to the new name was very positive right from the beginning. I think a lot of people were really excited about the marketing opportunities. Every single person in this stadium tonight got the new Antler Up t-shirt when they came in. Like, they're really trying to transition to the new name. Here's Hugh O'Neill, who's a Golden Bear in this city, back at the University of Alberta. This kick comes down on the far side to Dedmon, and he's dangerous.
Oh, boy.
Here's Dedmon, and a nice tackle just inside the 50. That's the former Calgary Dino, Grant McDonald, playing in his first CFL game, tracking down the slippery Devontae Dedmon.
Yeah, in Montreal, a 15.4-yard punt return average when he was an Alouette. So he can get it done. A couple of touchdowns in a game for Dedmon. Maybe he heard me talk about Gizmo and he said, oh, okay, I'm going to put a show on for you.
You have to perform when the GOAT's in the building.
Exactly.
The work from the 48 here. Nichols quickly out to his right, and that one is complete. Grimes with the tackle. That's the first CFL catch for Ryan Davis, who's the all-time leader in receptions at the University of Auburn. A lot of opportunity in this receiving core. You got R.J. Harris and a bunch of sort of new faces working with a new quarterback into the system as well.
You know, there is a lot of change in the league after missing a season and newcomers, and there's opportunity here for a lot of these guys to earn a spot and keep it if they can produce.
2nd and 6 for Ottawa. This one's dumped off underneath and bobbled, and then eventually drops. R.J. Harris looked like he had a play on it, but it was knocked away. Jonathan Mincy was there to disrupt him.
Yeah, a play, but I'm not sure he'd had enough for the first down. Mincy was right on his high shoulder, which means if he catches this, there's the close from Mincy, and he's still about 4 or 5 yards short. Maybe breaks a tackle, but you got to catch it first.
They're going to go for a 52-yard field goal attempt here from Lewis Ward, who hit 86% of his kicks last year. This one deep for the first one of the season, and he got it from 52 yards. Lewis Ward has tied this game at 3.
Wasn't that about the same place they were?
Very close.
Yeah, when they decided to punt, I'm sure Coach Paul LaPolice decided, you know what, we are close enough to give it a try, and maybe Lewis Ward went over to his head coach. Often the kicker will do that and say, hey, you know what, coach, I can make it from here, so send me out if you need to. He nails it.
Remember, Ward was 51 of 52 there back in 2018. Last year, 43 of 50, 86%, 4th best in the Canadian Football League. And a nice start there. That's got to get your confidence going here early in the season.
That's a sharp cap you got on there, too. Need something like that with the CFL logo, because if I wear a cap with any logo on it,
you can't do that.
I cannot do that.
You know that Glenn Suter, that huge homer who's wearing so-and-so's hat?
Yeah, can't wear the...
It's a good look, though.
Yeah, that's a nice look. Good kick. Tie this game up in the first quarter.
Just over a couple of minutes remaining. Williams waiting back at his own 12-yard line for Leone to hammer this thing away. Williams will take it at his 11, near side of the field, up to the 25, looking for a hole. Not gonna find one, as he is wrapped up by the veteran there, Antoine Pruneau, gobbling him up.
I mentioned that Trevor Harris could really just play point guard here and start to just distribute the rock to the playmakers. Darrell Walker we've talked about, and then you go from a Grey Cup champion in Walker to Greg Ellickson. 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons, can do it all really. Don't think he's slow either. He'll get behind you in a hurry. Armani Edwards is part of this receiving core. Haven't even mentioned him. Mike Jones and then Shai Ross. I mean, weapons, including this guy. James Wilder.
Wilder will take it. A little bit of a counter there, up just over the 30. A couple more yards. They've not been shy of handing that ball to James Wilder. I think he's got that's his 5th carry of this first quarter. So a heavy workload so far here for Wilder.
Yeah, I think they want to just, establish him, maybe slow that pass rush down. Slow the pass rush down a little bit, get Trevor Harris into play action as the game goes on, but Wilder had such a great camp, they want to feed it.
2nd and 8 from the Elks 32. Here's Harris, going to be pressured, spins away, and eventually is taken down at his own 25. Avery Williams there to help finish him off. Looked like Harris might have been going down anyway as he was looking for some free space as the Red Blacks bringing some heat here late in the first.
Avery Harris is going to get home, but it's pressure off the edge now. James Wilder picks it up. There, stop it there. He picks it up, but that pressure at the top is what causes Trevor Harris. He can feel that, so he starts scrambling around, and Avery Williams cleans him up.
O'Neill from his 15. Busy first quarter here for both punters. This will come down to Dedmon. Dedmon, nowhere to go this time. The Elks all over him. As we are wrapping up week 1 in the Canadian Football League. So good to be back. Week 2 will start with the Lions and Stampeders Thursday night in Calgary, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Look forward to being there for that one. Obviously a little bit of a storyline with the BC Lions after yesterday, Glenn.
Yeah, there is. And, be a lot of talk this week about the health of Michael Riley. And an impressive start by young Canadian quarterback Nathan Rourke. Become quite a story if he gets a lot more playing time.
Flanders once again right up the middle here as the clock ticks down in the first quarter. Offense for the Red Blacks. So many fresh faces here. Flanders, a guy that LaPolice, Nichols would be familiar with from time in Winnipeg as well. So as a head coach, you really want to bring in these guys that you've worked with in the past and you're trying to start something fresh. There's Flanders. Not sure if that's his natural hair color or not. Here's Nichols. Nichols near side, and that is incomplete. Just short of R.J. Harris in his 3rd year with the Red Blacks, and that's going to do it for our opening quarter here between Ottawa and Edmonton, as it's Lewis Ward and Sean White exchanging field goals in the first quarter. We're deadlocked. Second quarter action coming up from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Well, we are tied after the first quarter here in Edmonton. Red Blacks and Elks 3-3, and neither team really looking to push that ball down the field, Glenn.
No, they're not. I mean, they're both being very conservative at this point. I mean, you're looking at two teams that are trying to get their offenses on track, but the longest throw of the first quarter was 8 yards to Shai Ross. The longest play for both teams, the Wilder run for 14 yards. So intermediate and underneath throws so far. One of these teams or both have to stretch the field and back those DBs off.
Two veteran quarterbacks, you have to think they'll be ready to do that here at some point in this game.
Both teams have the weapons. Newer names for the Red Blacks, but certainly they have the guys that can get downfield. So I think we'll start to see that for both offenses, to push the ball a little bit more and take some shots.
Leone ready to kick it away. Williams hasn't been able to get too much going there, and they return game in his first quarter with the Elks. They take it at its own 15. Avoided one tackle, but were then scooped up by Adam Auclair, the rookie from Laval University.
That rookie year in Toronto for James Wilder Jr. just tore it up. I mean, he was multi-purpose back, triple threat, could block, breaking tackles, good out of the backfield, just an integral part of the offense. And then production really, and it's partly, it's partly on James Wilder, but it's also opportunity and how many touches he was getting and things. But his production dropped drastically, and they're real excited about him picking up like he did in that rookie year.
Terry Williams is out there right now at the running back position alongside Harris. There's a look at Wilder.
Legal substitution, too many men in the huddle, Edmonton. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Jamie Elizondo told us that Wilder was doing a lot of things that leaders at the running back position do in practice, which is finishing plays. So you don't just take the handoff in a practice drill and then run about 10 yards and stop and then come back to the huddle. You take the handoff, you accelerate into the hole, and then you run 50 yards. And he said that was leading the young guys to finish plays.
He was ecstatic about it. Elizondo couldn't stop smiling when he talked about it. Oh, shovel underneath. And that'll be pushed ahead just inside the 30 as Trevor Harris mixing things up a little bit. That one shoveled into the belly of Wilder.
And one thing that Jamie Elizondo, who I have great respect for, and again, one of those guys you just sit and talk football with, and you'll find an hour will go by. You just, breeze football. But this is the first time he's a head coach and the offensive coordinator at the same time.
3 receivers to the right there for Harris. One of them cuts across the middle, and that will be complete to Greg Ellingson, his first catch of the season. And it will be short, so that kick team's going to have to come back out onto the field here, and more work for Hugh O'Neill.
Yeah, he'll get it, and he'll get the timing of it. But what he's going to do as well is lean on Noel Thorpe, who, for all intents and purposes, is assistant head coach, and then he'll help him with in-game management, or the head coach's responsibility, so that he can still be involved in calling the offense. And again, Jamie Elizondo, outstanding offensive coordinator throughout his career in the CFL. This is his first year as a head coach and coordinator.
A 4th straight 2 and outs, and now O'Neill hammers this one away, comes down at the 35. They're going to a little trickery here from the Red Blacks, and will it work? Down the left side, all the way to the end zone. Ryan Davis, touchdown Red Blacks. Davis in his first game with Ottawa, his first trip to the end zone.
Why not? Why not in week 1, coming out of training camp? Now, this will be challenged to see if the ball was thrown forward or backwards.
It was just down from us. It looked close, didn't it?
It looked close. It looked close. And we are...
Challenge came out right away.
We are racking up replays to try and get a better look at it right now. But that's the question. Was it a forward pass, an illegal forward pass, or did it go backwards? Give me the all-24. The ball's caught now. Stop. So that is the... my arrow is going to be misleading on that draw. So if you look at the 38-yard line up at the top of your screen, that's where the ball's coming out.
Where does it come down?
And
that's close. That's close.
There was no flag on the play, so the play is ruled.
The scoring play is under review by the command center.
Legal, so they're going to have enough. They have to have enough information now to overturn. So, well,
it looks like he's right around the 38.
Yeah, right around the 38. Again, there's no line there. That's not a hash mark, and that's right at the 38. In fact,
that's close. Yeah.
I'm not sure there's evidence there to overturn this. I know that's not good news for Elks fans, but.
Clear path the entire way. I mean, nobody saw it coming.
But we'll see. I mean, there's lots of angles, and we're sending them to mission control right now.
Nice debut for Davis if this is going to count. He was with the New England Patriots in 2019, and as I mentioned earlier on the broadcast, he was a star at the University of Auburn, obviously a major program south of the border. If it stands, it'll be 9-3.
This is very, very close. And the longer it takes, the more I think that they're seeing that it might have been forward, or they're seeing an angle that they may overturn this.
After review, we have an offside pass on Ottawa. The ball goes back to the 38-yard line. Ottawa first down.
Well, that was close. That's too bad. That's a very cool play to throw on a team in week 1. And it couldn't be, it wasn't more than
less than a foot.
Less than a foot.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's. I love the call, Bob Dice. Nice job, special teams coordinator, to go out and come out of camp. And you know what? The guys love practicing those type of plays too. So I'm sure they had a ton of fun with it in camp. Say, hey, we're going to use it in the game, so make sure you're locked in. And they missed that. It really was inches, if anything.
Nichols from the 38 where that ball was placed. They'll dump it off underneath, and this is Davis again. This time he has scooped up. That is a nice tackle by Jonathan Mincy as he wrapped up the left foot of Davis, who looks like he's going to be involved quite a bit here in what the Red Blacks have been scheming heading into the season.
Davis on the pitch, brought down by number 2, Jonathan Mincy for your Elks. 2nd and 8, Red Blacks.
Mincy with Toronto in 2019 after a couple of years with the Montreal Alouettes. Only played 1 game in 2019. Now here's Nichols. The pressure right up the middle, and he's going down this time as Mike Moore bursts through for his first sack of the season after having 9 last year in 17 games.
Yeah, Betts and Boateng off the edges continue to progress in their development. And Mike Moore picks up where he left off a couple of years ago in 19. This D-line, something to reckon with. Oh, they've got their own. I think this is an antler. That's an antler dance. The Elks antler dance.
That is an antler dance. No first downs in this game yet for the visitors from Ottawa. County kicks it away again. There's Williams. Tracked down momentarily, escaped and takes it up the sideline. Just outside the 40 is where they're going to start. And the D-line is dancing for the Elks. Women's World Hockey Championship comes your way August 20th from Calgary, Alberta, as Team Canada begins their quest to reclaim gold on home soil. Catch every game all tournament long exclusively on TSN. There's those T-shirts that were given out tonight.
Antler up. Well, the D-line just antlered up.
I wonder how long, and I'm talking tonight, not this season, you're going to have fans in the stands doing the old antler dance as well.
You got to believe there'll be hats at some point, too, with the antlers on them.
Here's Trevor Harris, 6 of 9 here in the first half. He's going to take a shot deep this time, and that's over the head of everybody. He was looking for Mike Jones, and Jones couldn't get there in time.
No, but still a good decision, and that's what we talked about at the break, that these quarterbacks do this a couple of times, and it plants a seed in the mind of this guy right here. When you're defensive back, you're now thinking, okay, he will, so I better make sure I'm on my horse because he was in behind coverage. Now that plants a seed, and it should open up some intermediate stuff.
4 targets to the right this time for Harris. He's got a little bit of time. That's Jones again for the first down out to the 52. And Mike Jones in this receiving core with Walker and Ellingson and Monty Edwards, another legitimate weapon for Trevor Harris.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess you start, if you're Ottawa and the Red Blacks, I guess you start by rolling coverage if you want a double team to Darrell Walker.
Now here's Harris rolling to his right. He's got a ton of room, so he's going to keep it. He gets popped by Avery Williams. But Trevor Harris almost had enough to pick up the first down.
Yes, you can roll that way, and if Greg Ellingson and Darrell Walker are on the same side, maybe you roll coverage that way. But other than that, you better just spread out and play the field. And that's a wide field, 65-yard wide field to cover.
Second and short here on the 49, and Harris, the quarterback keeper, didn't need much. I think he got it. The Elks had not had a first down since their first drive of the football game, which ended up in 3 points. Now they've put together back-to-back first downs and have marched into Red Blacks territory.
Deep ball helped.
Open things up a little bit. Yeah. You called it. Wilder in behind his quarterback. There's a work from the Ottawa 48. Monty Edwards swings in underneath. Now they'll give it to Wilder. Wilder pushing ahead. Wrapped up by Avery Williams, who's been all over the place here in the first half of the football game. He tied up Wilder, but pretty good pickup on first down for the Elks running back.
Now, I haven't talked to James Wilder about this, and I will as the season goes on, but I have a theory on one of the reasons for the decline in production for Wilder, and that was that wrestling deal he got involved with.
6'3", 232, not your typical build for a running back, but he's made the most of it here. Here's a shot far side. Completes at the 5, and he's going to be tracked down just before the end zone. That was Jones who was open this time, and Trevor Harris wasted no time firing it over there.
Yeah, that looked like a bust, and Baltimore's sitting on the out.
There's a flag at the 50. It's coming back.
Major foul, chop block. Edmonton number 57.
That's in the line, chop block.
15-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
David Beard, the center.
So, chop block for casual football fans is that one of the other offensive linemen is engaged with the defensive. Here's Beard right here, so let's watch him. And one of the other offensive linemen will be engaged, and you cannot go low when a defensive lineman is engaged with one of your teammates. It's a dangerous hit.
That'll back them up now, 2nd and 19 for Trevor Harris. Now from his own 53 here with just under 8 minutes remaining in the first half. Ball game tied at 3. Harris dumps it off. Wilder, his second catch of the game. He's going to be gobbled up right at midfield. And they'll stop him there.
So now one each. Dustin, one big play by Ottawa missed and overturned. The officials made that call. And now this call, both, the return that took points off the board for Ottawa, very, very close. In fact, questionable, I would say. That's a clear chop block, but big plays taken off the board, now one each for both teams.
We hadn't seen many of those prior to that, right? So they started to mix in a few wrinkles, and it worked, but came back. Now O'Neill, a low kick. Dedmon takes it at his own 15, now up to the 20. Spins away from one tackle and lunges ahead to the 30 before he stopped there by Tommy Koskinen.
New head coach, Paul LaPolice, very familiar to us at TSN. We didn't put that part into his bio, but it is part of his CFL history. He was an analyst with us and our crew back in Toronto. Joined the CFL with the Argos back in 2000. This is the second time as a head coach. As a head coach in Winnipeg for a couple of years as well. Been an offensive coordinator, and some of those years were with Matt Nichols in Winnipeg.
9 years between his last head coach game and this one. Gotta feel good for him to be back. A pretty good second effort there by Flanders.
Well, in our call with him this week, he first of all, he said he absolutely loves Ottawa. Feels like he's loving the outdoor aspect of Ottawa. He actually bought a bike to go to work with.
He did say he bought a bike.
He said he's enjoying that. But no, in all seriousness, this is a guy who's in a very different space, different world in his second time. A lot learned in the first time as a head coach years ago, but very different approach.
Here's Nichols, and that one's going to fall incomplete as Ottawa continues to search for their first down of this football game, and we've got just over 6 minutes left in the first half here. LaPolice actually was telling us he moved during the pandemic. Actually, a lot of guys we talked to this week said they moved during the pandemic. I guess they had enough time to do it, obviously starting a new job, but still not an ideal situation.
No, and we were all locked down, but he was still in communication big time with his quarterbacks, and He got Matt Nichols, and that was finalized. They went to work.
No first downs, 7 to an out for the Red Blacks offense. Flag does fly there as Williams takes it just inside his own 35. Trevor Harris, 8 of 12 so far on the evening, will have the ball next. While there he is. He spent the break going viral online. For more on that, let's send it down to Ryan Rashad.
Yeah, Dusty, there's no way we were doing this broadcast without rolling this video in at least once. If you haven't seen it, well, feast your eyes on this feat of athleticism. Shai Ross with the backflip, Oreo cookie dunk. I don't know who thought about that, but that was phenomenal. So, made some noise on his way into training camp with that video. But if you talk to the coach, you talk to the quarterback, they'll tell you, boy, he was humble. He paid attention, was one of the fastest learners in training camp, one of the hardest workers, and they were really excited for the lid lifter here tonight to see what Shai Ross was going to be able to bring. A lot of potential there, and the athleticism, guys, ridiculous.
Can you believe this? Let's hold it there. Hold it there. Stop it there. So that is an actual Oreo cookie. This right here, an actual glass of milk. Dunks it without spilling a drop while flipping in the air. I mean, there's your TikTok and YouTubing and everything else you're going to do with it. But wow, that's how many views did that thing get? Did you ever count?
No, I mean I watched it a bunch of times. I got like 20 from me. I've dunked a lot of cookies and made a bigger mess than he did doing the flip. And Ryan Rashad said he might actually try that in the second half today. So we'll see if he can do it.
So athletic. Like the sky's the limit for a guy like that. The body control. I mean, that's what you're looking for. He's down the bottom of your screen.
Procedure.
There he is, right
Edmonton
there.
number 68. 5-yard penalty, first down.
He's got good size, 6 foot, 180. I mean, tremendously athletic, but that body control. So ball's in the air, slightly thrown behind you, ball's in the air, and you got to run it down. You've got to twist your body. We see it in guys like Greg Ellingson all the time. That's what he has. That's what he possesses. So see it on display tonight.
Returned 19 kicks in 5 games that he played last year as well. And there he is. Perfect timing. Here's Ross. He'll take it up to the 45 of the Red Blacks with just over 4 minutes left in the second quarter.
Number 11, Shai Ross on the reception.
And if you're sort of ranking based on what you know and past history, the receiving core here with the Elks, he's 5th. So
for now.
Yeah, for now. That's exactly right. Let's see who wins the Derby.
Harris barking out instructions from the Ottawa 45. He's completed 5 passes in a row. Can he make it 6?
Oh, look out.
Wilder got underneath it, and it will be blown down. That'll be a first down if it's complete, but it's not. It's incomplete.
Sherrod Baltimore cut underneath this throw, but he had gone inside by about 3 yards, and it just took him off the path of a pick 6. There he is, and he pattern reads this route. Watch him jump it. He's coming up, and then he went inside about 4 steps too far, or he has taken that one back to the house.
Sean White will attempt his second field goal of the game. Former Calgary Dino, Hunter Carl to hold. This is a 52-yarder. Lewis Ward's already hit from almost the same spot in the field. Sean White lets it fly from 52. Got it! Just enough, but he got it. They're all business down there, Hunter Carl and Sean White. And the Elks take a 6-3 lead here with just over 3 to play in the first half.
I never talk about who I picked in the top 50. We do every year. I picked Sean White as my kicker.
Hey, don't tell anybody, but I picked him as my kicker too.
Did you?
Yeah.
I just, I like his veteran presence. The clutch kick, he'll make it for you. His percentage outstanding in 19.
He's got the 3rd best percentage in the history of the Canadian Football League.
I was looking at that history as well.
Yeah.
So, I just...
He did all of his firefighting training in the break as well. So he's kind of set himself up post-career.
Good for him. Good idea.
11-year guy in the Canadian Football League.
36 years old, so you're getting there. Although kickers can go for a lot longer than your average player.
O'Neill. Lets it fly. That'll be Dedmon again at the slant. He's capable of busting a big one, but the Elks won't allow it here. Shai Ross in on the tackle there.
Game can be unpredictable. It really can. I mean, the over and under for this one was what, 46 points?
46.
Yeah. And you think with the familiarity between the quarterbacks and the coaches in this scenario, the weapons certainly on Edmonton's offense, but a lot of speed for Matt Nichols as well. We should see more points and more yards, but the defenses are saying, wait a minute, we're out here too.
And both defenses have been very good so far here in the first half of this game. Here's Nichols, empty backfield, goes to his right, takes a look over the middle. And is that complete? It's Davis. And Davis wasting no time here in this first half. He's probably been the biggest piece of this offense for the Ottawa Redblacks, who just picked up their first down of the football game, and it comes to keep this drive alive with 2:46 remaining in the first half. A first down for the Redblacks into the hands of Ryan Davis. They trail 6-3.
At the half, we're going to give a little love to Mike Benavides, talk about Matt Nichols, and we are finally going to debut the segment we have been waiting for. Chezzy, what do we call it again? You got screwed.
Not the case for underbettors here in the first half, I'll tell you that. 6-3, good push ahead here. As Flanders moves them up closer, and just over midfield, right at midfield is actually where they're going to mark it. Any momentum here for the Redblacks offense will be big at the end of the first half.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm still waiting for Matt Nichols and Paul LaPolice to kind of cut it loose. You know, take three-step drop and throw a fade route. Just push the ball deep.
2nd and 3 from midfield. That one complete, and that'll be enough for a first down as he goes to the former Edmonton football receiver, Nate Bahar.
Like Kate said, the defensive coordinators are taking center stage in this first half. Old Thorpe and Mike Benavides, both veterans in the Canadian Football League and defensive department.
Nichols wants to keep her moving, far side of the field. That's complete for a first down as well. R.J. Harris with his first catch of the football game on the 3rd attempt by Nichols to get it to him.
Tempo offense to try and maybe change things up.
Harris had 2 touchdowns in 2019, 2 touchdowns in 2018 as well. Nichols now works 1st and 10 from the Elks 39. 3 receivers to the wide side of the field on his left. Back to the right, that one complete. What a catch by R.J. Harris.
You get to year 3, and that's when it starts to slow down. Really, it doesn't. And I think it's doesn't matter what position we're talking about. You get to year 3, and it starts to slow down for you, and that's exactly where R.J. Harris is now. He's shown flashes in Ottawa for 3 years. You know, big games here and there. That's a great catch.
2nd and a couple from the 31. They hand it off. And dancing his way to a first down is Davis again.
I like him.
People from Ottawa we're talking to on the radio here in Edmonton this week said you got to wait and watch this Ryan Davis, and they were right. They were right indeed.
Watch this cut. Puts the brakes on. He jams that left foot in the turf and heads upfield. Freezes the D-line. That's a nice run.
Just over 90 seconds remaining here in the half. Ottawa finally getting their offense in gear. Here's Nichols now, pressure coming, had to get rid of it quickly, and he went back to Davis again, and Davis able to get underneath it. fourth catch of the first half.
That's a great catch, but they're going to get closer and on the same page on this. This was full blitz pressure, and Matt Nichols now, he needs him to turn and look at, get his head around quick here. Because if Nichols gets it, he's going, it's blitz, you got to be hot now. And it just took him an extra second to get his head around. Still made the catch, but if he gets it around earlier, Nichols hits him and he can turn it upfield.
2nd and 3 inside the red zone. Nichols dumps it off again. It's Davis again. This time he's tracked down from behind by Jonathan Mincy, but not before he picks up another Red Blacks first down.
Well, when you got the hot hand, just keep playing it. I mean, 15 has become the go-to. Get this offense kick-started. Really nice run on the fly sweep. Key first down to keep the drive alive. Lots of time to punch in for the major before the half.
Nichols started this game 2 of 6. Since then, he is 6 for 6. Flanders immediately to his right. Nichols is throwing again to the end zone. R.J. Harris. No, that's over the head of Harris, who had Mincy following up behind him.
Spot throw for Matt Nichols. Pressure coming. He's going to throw it to the corner, and if he can get there, R.J. Harris just a couple of steps too far. Looked like, in fact, that bounced out of bounds.
10th play of this drive for Ottawa. Within striking distance here, no doubt. They trail by 3. Nichols, a little bit of pressure this time, gets away, and hammers it down into the turf. As finally, and you hadn't seen a lot of it on this drive, the Elks were able to get through there.
Matt Nichols made 2 real good decisions while this play was on. Your quarterback has got to make great decisions, and pocket breaks down right away. So up front, there was a mistake, and Nichols sees the mistake, buys himself just enough time to throw it away so he doesn't put more pressure on his kicker by losing yards, doesn't force the ball down the field and cause an interception in plus territory, and he gives Ward a chance to go out and add 3 to the total.
Ward hit a 52-yard field goal earlier. This one from just outside the 20, no doubt about it. And this game is tied at 6. Just over half a minute left for Trevor Harris. We'll see what he can do with that. Matt Nichols now 8 of 13 for 56 yards here in the first half. And I know they had to settle for 3 there, but that's a really positive drive heading into half.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And Ryan Davis was the highlight in that drive. A couple of key plays for him. Remember, he was the guy on the special teams trick play that was overturned through replay. He scored on that one too, so making plays. Number 15, new to the CFL, 24 years old, as you mentioned, out of Auburn. And he's right now figuring out, oh yeah, there's only 20 seconds between plays here. Take a deep breath. Deep breath. Another deep breath.
Here's Harris with 33 seconds. Works from his own 35. Wilder again. Wilder turned around, had some time to sort of assess the situation, and takes it out to the 41 with 25 on the clock.
Calling on the line. Got Darrell Walker down inside of the short field.
Sean White hit from 52 earlier in this quarter, so keep that in mind. Monty Edwards, and he stays up on his feet, pushes ahead to midfield with 16 seconds on the clock. And as they creep towards a possible field goal attempt at half here. Harris, 3 receivers to his left. Looked like he wanted to take a shot, dumps it off to Wilder. Instead, Wilder will get down to the 40 with 7 seconds on the clock here at Commonwealth. Sean White warming his leg up On the sidelines, now he's
do it
heading
now.
out to the field. Yep.
Yeah, do it now. You get the 6-7 seconds. You might get one more in, but you also get held up, and then you lose your opportunity for 3. So they're going to kick it right now. I like the decision.
Guarantee themselves the opportunity here. And this one will be from 48 for Sean White. 2 of 2 from 12 and 52. Last season, he hit 87% of his kicks, good for 3rd in the Canadian Football League. No time on the clock. Sean White from 48.
Money.
And that is good. A perfect start to the season for the veteran kicker, Sean White, 3 for 3 in the first half, and he has staked his team to a 9-6 lead. The Elks over top of the Red Blacks here in Edmonton.
No.
Here are the Red Blacks trailing the Elks 9-6, just 84 net yards of offense in that first half. Here's Ryan Rashog with Paul Lapalisse.
Paul, a chance to address your team at halftime. What was your message to them?
Yeah, we said this would be a 60-minute game, that we had to play 60 minutes to put ourselves in position to win the game. We got to get 7s, in the second half, make sure we finish drives with touchdowns.
Took a bit of a risk with the trick play on the return, and it was executed almost to perfection. I know it's frustrating that it came back, but did you like the way that was executed, and is it important to knock something like that off early in a season?
We feel like, creativity is rewarded in the Canadian Football League, so we want to make sure we're always creative in what we do.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Ryan.
The Red Blacks will kick this ball away to start the second half.
Couldn't agree more about the creativity comment. We'll see what the offense has come up with, what adjustments have been made at halftime.
Terry Williams at his 11. Cuts it back at the 25, and that is where he runs out of room. So the Elks offense will go to work again. Trevor Harris in that first half, 14 of 19, 110 yards, 5 completions to James Wilder, and pretty much 2 to everybody else, just 1 to Ellingson. So he's been spreading it out a little bit. What are you going to see from him here in the second half, do you think?
Again, I think when they started to move the ball a little bit in the first half, it was after the deep ball that was incomplete, but they pushed it down and planted a seed in the head of the defensive backfield. So keep going underneath, the defense keeps moving closer to the line of scrimmage.
They start from their own 27, back to Wilder. Wilder waiting, trying to bounce it outside. He got popped.
Okay.
That was Maponga who came over. First year CFLer making his presence known.
Texas Christian coming in, and I miss this physicality here. Let's listen in.
Maponga grew up in Zimbabwe, moved to the United States at the age of 9. Here's Harris, Monty Edwards. He got popped, but he held on to it, but it's not enough for the first down.
Trevor Harris finds Monty Edwards.
Just short. It looks like the big boys are going to come out here, and the offense is going to stay on the field.
So you saw in that route to that replay, there were 2 receivers of the 4 to that side of the field that did go deep. So the options for the deep throw are there in a lot of these routes. It's not like they're running real conservative routes and everybody's short.
Big opportunity here for Ottawa's defense to make a stand. They will push that ball ahead, and it looks like they got enough. But we'll see when that ball
Trevor Harris, the quarterback sneak.
placed down.
One guy I think that Trevor Harris can start to look on and lean on a little bit is Greg Ellingson. And I think, when you get a sort of, you're looking at short to intermediate routes, and you need a route runner to get some room, to open up some room with the way and the speed in which he's running his route. So in other words, push those defensive backs off and then turn around. If it's intermediate 8 to 12 yards, that's the guy that can get it done. I mean, he can make you turn inside out as a defensive back. He's such a great route runner. Lean on 82.
measurement here is close, but just enough. We're talking a couple of inches will keep the Elks offense on the field in their own territory here. Harris's longest completion in the game so far, 15 yards.
Very experienced DCs, defensive coordinators on both sidelines. There's Mike Benavides, former head coach, now defensive coordinator for the Red Blacks.
Putting on a little bit of a show today on the defensive side of the ball. 3 options to the right for Harris. Hands it off to Wilder, and there's a pretty good sized hole that opened up there, and he's able to push it out over the 40.
And what I meant earlier in the first half when I was talking about Wilder, who started that wrestling sort of career in the offseason of a football season in Toronto, and probably trained a little bit differently for that. And I think at this level of football, you have got to have all your chips in the middle of the table, and now he does again.
2nd and 4 on their own 43. Harris, Wilder again. And first down again for James Wilder, who was a busy man in the first half, and they're once again putting him to work here early in the 3rd quarter.
Like his patience, got in behind his offensive line and just gave them a 2 count to just keep pushing forward. Beard with a nice hit, driving his man back.
11 touches in the opening half for Wilder, and he's looked good here in the 2nd. Now Harris. This time he's going to be throwing. Darrell Walker, catch of the game, bounces a man off of him, picks up the first down, takes it inside the 40.
Darrell Walker with the reception.
Okay, it's starting to happen now. And this is a favorite for a player. First of all, you catch this intermediate route, you're Darrell Walker, but you're right in front of your teammates, right in front of your own bench. Lower your shoulder and win that battle physically with the corner. Hear the guys cheering him on when he moved at it.
That was Gump Hayes on the receiving end of that pop from Walker. 1st and 10 from the 39 for the Elks. Back to Wilder again. And another 3 or 4 yards on that first down carry.
Active leader in receivers in the CFL in yards per game. 82 per game for Darrell Walker. 4 seasons with Edmonton, over 4,000 yards, and over that average, which is, as I mentioned, the active leader in the CFL right now. So between he and Ellingson, get them going, and we'll see some offense.
Grey Cup champion with this organization back in 2015. Here's Harris, empty backfield. Far side, it's Walker again! One-hander, no!
Look at the bad pass. Nah, you look at this is gonna be.
Kenna.
Abdul Kenna over there said, "Oh, don't worry about that. That was just a bad pass." Oh, there's Walker. Sorry about that.
Great effort from Walker.
Yeah, it's a timing out. So 1, 2, 3 throw from Trevor Harris, and he just floats it a little over that high shoulder. Walker was there. He actually won the route. The ball just took him too far upfield.
So Sean White once again. This one from just outside 42. 3 for 3 in the opening half. Sean White, can he make it 4 for 4? Yes, he can. The Elks give themselves a little bit of a cushion, 12-6 the lead.
Football fans, when the offense is bogged down and struggling, they're saying, what's wrong with the offense? What's wrong with the quarterback? Why can't they get the ball down the field? Well, sometimes the answer is pretty simple. It's the defense providing the pressure. And right now, Noel Thorpe's group up front, the 4 starters, Boateng, Dresden Moore, and Betts, they're getting it done, and they're not letting Matt Nichols settle into that pocket, and they're probably taking that leadership role because the guys behind them in the linebacking core for Edmonton, brand new.
5 rookies in the linebacking positions here tonight for the Elks. More on them in just a second. There's Dedman We'll take it back up to about the 35. But yeah, it was very interesting coming into camp for the Elks. Hadn't heard much about Niles Morgan out of Notre Dame or Keyshawn Bieria. It was with Jacksonville and Arizona on the practice roster in 2019. You've got Darius Williams, Grant McDonald, who was a second-round pick just this past year, and Malik Clement. Those are the 5 guys. None of them have ever played a game in the Canadian Football League, but their head coach, Elizondo, who we talked to earlier in the week, had nothing but great things to say about Bieria and Niles Morgan in training camp. Now here's Nichols. To his right, Betts held up a little bit. Nichols is able to get it away, and Aaron Grimes is there in coverage to break it up. Jordan Smallwood was the intended receiver. There's a flag out at the Elks 51.
Is there some illegal contact?
Pass interference, Edmonton number 36. 10-yard penalty and automatic first down.
That's Aaron Grimes. Aaron Grimes opens his hips to the inside. Actually, good route here. You're going to see it come right down the right side of your screen here. Watch Grimes at the top. He turns, so he has to blind turn now and try and catch up. They're saying he got there just a little bit too early. That was very close. I don't know about that one. I think did Elizondo just challenge that? He did. I think he wants to challenge that was pass interference.
Well, now they'll get another look at it. We just got our second look at it. Grimes obviously.
Edmonton is challenging the play. Defensive pass interference. The play will be reviewed.
Yeah, when I looked at it on replay, Dustin, that's really close. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
After review, the ruling on the field has been overturned. There's no pass interference. It'll be second down and 10 at the 37-yard line.
New head coach. Successful challenge.
Grimes likes it. Had the challenge earlier on the
exactly.
Pass two, so 2 for 2.
Took a touchdown off the board on the special teams trick play. Challenged that, won that challenge. Challenged his defensive back, was in good position on the knockdown. Won that one, 2 for 2.
Second and 10 from the Ottawa 37. Nichols. That one incomplete. You'd look to go back to Smallwood. And Smallwood could not get there.
Yeah, I just give some credit to that D-line because Betts and I think Boateng and Moore are causing most of the damage up front, but it also does that pressure consistently. It doesn't necessarily need to be sacks. It just can disrupt the quarterback enough that he can't throw on time. He can't really plant foot and step into throws. And it also buys some time for that young linebacking core that you mentioned. Get their feet wet, feel more comfortable.
Allows them to settle in just a little bit. Leone from his 26. Terry Williams will take it inside his own 30. Williams going to try to kick it outside on the far side of the field. Gang tackled by the Red Blacks at 35. The Elks will look to add to their lead next. Weekend where we honor the league's great fans. Tonight we pay tribute to one of the most diehard the game has ever seen. Brian Edwards, a season ticket holder since 1978, passed away earlier this summer. He was a fixture at games not only in this stadium but across the league, attending countless Grey Cups and league events. With more on this, let's go to Ryan Rashad.
Yeah, Dustin, and our thoughts are definitely with his wife, Linda. She's at the game here tonight, and it was not easy for her to come. I had a chance to talk to her earlier today. Very emotional. In the stands, you can see wearing number 42, the number of Dan Kepley, and a jersey next to her where Brian would sit. There's actually a story about Dan Kepley that joined these two. Turns out he was both their favorite players, and a conversation about Dan Kepley was the first conversation they ever had. And at the end of that conversation, he had the courage to ask her out, and you can see the rest is history. Had their wedding pictures done here at Commonwealth Stadium. They sat together for years watching these games, and Linda wanted to come tonight to honor Brian. And from our entire family at TSN, and I'm sure on behalf of everybody watching, just a giant hug to Linda. We're glad she's here tonight, and our thoughts are with her and her family.
I just love our fans, and what a great story. And it's just, when you think about how, first of all, their choice of favorite player can't get much better than Dan Kepley, which is a great story. And I understand that they originally had tickets away from each other.
This is a great story.
And they wanted to keep that because they didn't want to jinx it for the Edmonton, at the time, Edmonton Eskimos. So, you know, I love it.
Dropped there by Wilder. Yeah, so when they were dating, they would come to the game, then they would say goodbye. They'd go sit separately, and then because they didn't want to jinx anything with the team, which is obviously very good. And then after the game, they'd meet up again and continue their date.
Yeah, and the players finally told them, and a lot of the alumni probably, and they finally told them, they said, look, it's okay, you can sit together. So our condolences, but man, that's a great story. I love our fans. I got pictures of Elks hats at halftime on Twitter.
Dedmon made a couple of guys miss, but the Elks will track him down just inside the 30. Brian Edwards, one of the best that the Canadian Football League has ever had. Great to see his wife here tonight. Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium, everyone. Dustin Nielsen, Glenn Suter with you, and welcome to our viewers on TSN4 who have joined us. Edmonton leading Ottawa 12-6 in a defensive battle thus far here to wrap up week 1 on the CFL schedule.
These bookends getting it done for Edmonton on defense. Noel Thorpe's group, Kwaku Boateng, we talked about how he's had such his year-by-year numbers continue to grow. And then on the other side, I'm loving what Matthew Betts is doing. Laval product, first-round pick back in 19. He's at stand-up end right now.
Taste of the action last year, played in 6 games. They'll dump this one off, and once again, nowhere to go. Aaron Grimes sliding up to make the tackle on Nate Bahar.
See, and even these are the subtleties that I'm talking about. Not necessarily sacks here, but this is a stand-up position, and he flattens his rush out a little bit because he reads the play. This is just instincts kicking in. Watch him flatten out, and then now Matt Nichols has to change his throwing angle just slightly enough that the play is not successful and his team can rally to it.
Leone just inside his own 25, towering punt. Williams will take it at the 21. Here's Williams looking for some daylight, and he's not going to find any of it. As the Redblacks down the field quickly, Randall Evans in on the tackle with Adam O'Clair. Looks like Williams wanted a flag on the play, not going to get it. Trevor Harris, 16 of 23, just under 70%, 137 yards here as we just passed the midway point of the third quarter. Number one weapon so far today has been his running back. This time they'll hand it off. Jones sweeping around. And one man missed and got popped at the 32. As the Elks try to add a little bit of creativity to the offense, Glenn.
Well, yeah, and the creativity here is to a lot of different changing of direction. So one guy's going left to right, another one right to left. The whole objective of that is to have the defense pause for a split second. That split second may get you the edge in a big game.
4 yards on that first down, 2nd and 6 here, working from their own 33. Harris, 3 receivers immediately to his right. Shy Ross is one of them, and he'll gun it into the belly of Ross for the first down. And he takes it up to the 44.
Does he have Oreo cookies at half? Like, is it a halftime treat?
Gizmo Williams just popped by just to bother us quickly.
He's distracting us.
He hasn't had an Oreo in 30 years.
Yeah. We're working here. We're working here.
Out here's Harris, 3 receivers to his right. Harris has a man downfield. Picked off on the far side. What a play there by Abdul Kenna.
7-year veteran, Abdul Kenna. Great range as he drops deep on the outside third. He's going to drop back here. Trevor Harris thinks he has a wide open Darrell Walker, but watch the range from Kenna. From inside the hash mark to outside the numbers. Move him to free safety. Well, no, you don't want to do that. Antoine Pruneau's there. He's a good one, too.
Now the ball in the exchange is bobbled, but Nichols is able to smother it.
Oh, this has got to be a team.
Look at that.
We're going to get to the bottom of that. Look at this range, though, and timing it to go up and get it. Now, as Shy Ross gets a little more playing time, he'll feel that inside defensive back close to the ball and be more aggressive to try and catch it at its high point. But we'll get to the bottom of what that one is. A gold football. If you get the pick, you get the gold ball, I guess.
2nd and 11. Nichols under pressure, dumps it off. Flanders pushing it ahead to the 40, and they got about half of what they needed. Once again, that D-line there, not making things easy for the veteran quarterback and Matt Nichols.
Well, most important for a team when you get the turnover is it's called the sudden change, and because the momentum on an interception switches so quickly, all of a sudden you get all that momentum and the offense wants to come on, move in and score, and you can really bury a team quickly on that sudden change. It's imperative that the defense make the stop immediately to get it back.
3 straight 2-and-outs for Ottawa here in the third quarter. Williams picks his way to the sideline. Got hit right at the end there. The Elks bench not happy with it. There is a flag back at midfield, not related to that. I think it came out a little bit sooner.
Well, interesting chess match going on. I mean, we're not seeing the big plays like we've seen in the other 3 games to start the comeback season for the Canadian Football League. But it is an interesting chess match. Defensive coordinators giving all the offensive coordinators can handle tonight.
During the return, holding Edmonton number 23, 10-yard penalty, it's first down.
That'll back them up a little bit. Ball will be placed on the Edmonton 10. Elizondo, this offense, 12 points all off the leg of Sean White. This is the deepest they've started on a drive in the game tonight. Darrell Walker by himself to the right of Trevor Harris. Wilder outside. Hayes is there to slow him down. Wow, there are a couple good second efforts tonight. Alway in on the tackle as well. Alway was actually there first.
You know, both these quarterbacks, too, if you get a chance to ever talk to them, and I know you and I do, Dustin, all the time, we get a chance to sit down with them. And you know, quarterbacks in general, obviously, it goes without saying that they don't want to throw interceptions. These 2 quarterbacks really don't want it. Like, it turns their stomach, and at times,
Wilder again, right up the middle. And that Ottawa defense able to hold, and that will bring up third down here for the Elks.
At times, Dustin, that'll turn into sort of what looks like real conservative play. But in actuality, it's just good decision making to, rather than force it. You know, when you're not in sync and you force it, you 2 turnovers and the game's over. You've lost track. It's over. 2 turnovers can flop the field so quickly, points on the board, and you've lost. But if you stay in the chess match, you keep it within a possession, especially for the road team, then you can steal one and be a little more aggressive as you get into the fourth quarter.
Dedmon takes us at his own 40. Dedmon up to the 55. Dedmon's got a little bit of space, but he's tracked down.
Well, that's a big tackle because that looked like it was gone. Who got him?
That was Grant McDonald, I believe. That was McDonald from behind who tracked him down. Second round pick out of Calgary. Just this past draft.
He had a blocker and one more cut, he's to the house.
Great field position here from the 46 for Matt Nichols. Hands it off to Flanders. And that was closed off quickly. Miles Morgan on the tackle.
Notre Dame, where he went to play his college ball, has an award called the Newcomer Award. He won it. Now, with the history of the linebacking core on this team in Edmonton, can he become the newcomer in the CFL award winner?
Clock ticks down here in the third quarter. That's a completion. Smallwood with his first catch of the game. Takes it down close to the Edmonton 35.
We don't bet, but I'm talking to the fans. Did you take the under?
Yeah. Everybody talked about this Edmonton offense all week.
I know, that's
a Red Blacks team that not many people are showing a lot of respect to. So no comment, I guess. Davison, short yardage, pushing ahead, and that looks like more than enough. And that'll get the Red Blacks a fresh set of downs to start
Dominic Davis in at quarterback for the quarterback sneak.
The fourth quarter of this football game. They trail by 6 on the road in the opener. They're creeping towards a major here at Commonwealth. A low-scoring affair to wrap up Week 1 in the Canadian Football League. 12-6, the Elks with the lead right now, and still within striking distance here, Ottawa.
Yeah, I mean, you know, not big numbers offensively for either team. We've got a quarter to go, so that could change, but you have to give full credit to defensive coordinators for both teams, and Mike Benavides and Noel Thorpe. They are winning the night so far, and for me, the former safety, I have no problem with defenses winning.
So, you're loving it. For me, the guy who likes to call touchdowns, this is driving me nuts.
Well, and I think...
Get a good game, though.
Yeah, and I think the average fan loves to see the touchdowns, too, but I'm okay with a defensive chess match.
Davis remains in the game here to start the fourth quarter for Ottawa's offense. Wants to run it and learns quickly that there is nowhere to go. Williams, Betts, the area, all in the vicinity.
You know, we've seen coaches do that in the past when backup quarterback, especially an athletic one, comes in on short yardage. Sometimes coaches will leave them in for the very next play, the first down that they get on short yardage. See if they can get a drive going. But when you change the quarter, it sort of takes the momentum of that away.
Second and 11 on the Edmonton 36 here for Nichols. 5 targets to his right. Pressure up the middle, and they got to him. Once again, Mike Moore, second sack of the game.
It was brought down in the backfield as a sack for Edmonton, number 96, Mike Moore. First down, Ottawa.
Led the team in 99. In 1999, led the team. 96 is getting there again. I got the numbers right. Getting it right.
So Ward has come out here, 2 for 2 tonight, 52 and 21. This will be about a 51-yarder from the left hash for Lewis Ward. Has enough, and it's good to make it a 12-9 football game as Sean White and Lewis Ward have put on a little bit of a clinic here on a Saturday night at Commonwealth.
You know, they have, but a lot of these kicks are, a good portion of them have been long kicks, over 50 yards. And those type of kicks, obviously very tough to make. And if one is missed, we've got great returners on both of these teams. One of the aspects of Canadian football that everyone loves is that big missed field goal return. Now, I'm not jinxing either kicker. I'm just saying that it's a possibility when you're looking long range all the time. It just takes a little bit short. Get one of those returners on the fly, taking it. That may be the difference maker in a low-scoring game.
3-point game with just over 13 minutes to go. 4 field goals for Sean White, 3 for Lewis Ward. Here's Trevor Harris. Darrell Walker, and that's a first down for 87 in green, and his 4th catch of the football game.
Good footwork there from Trevor Harris. Just sliding the pocket outside, so he's moving it around. A little play action, drops out. Now watch him just shuffle his feet and wait for Darrell Walker to slip into that hole.
Best drive of the football game for the Elks was their very first one. Ended up in a Sean White field goal. Here's Harris again. A little bit of time this time. Wilder again underneath. And that will be a good push just over midfield for James Wilder. We asked what that golden ball was. Well, Ryan Rashog's going to deliver.
Yes, some investigative journalism, fellas. And this is not an answer that the REDBLACKS want to give up, so we're kind of guessing a little bit. But when we were talking to Paul Appolice the other day, he used the phrase, the ball is the cup. So if you take that and you look at the golden ball and think about the Grey Cup, I'm told they want to reward great defense every bit as much as great offense. So when touchdowns are scored, those guys get all the adulation. They want the D to feel some love too, and so the golden ball is given to the great defensive plays that are made and the turnovers. The idea being if you dominate the football, you're on your way to the cup, guys, because the ball is the cup. Make sense?
It makes sense to me. Avery Williams kind of let it out, and I said to Coach Police, is it okay if we get there? I didn't know about the gold ball, so good work by Ryan down on the sideline, but he told us, and Avery told us, our little saying in the huddle, and we want to live by it. You know, and some people say, yeah, it's a small thing, but these things is what you build on. It's part of the culture. The ball is the cup. And when you think about it, defense is pretty simple. Whoever has the ball, hit that guy. You know, that's, you know, when you're in the playground, that's basically what you're saying. When they get the ball, whoever has it, hit him. Get all 12 hats on it. If we do that enough, we're going to the cup.
Here's Harris, 1st and 15 after a flag. Fakes to his left, dumps it over top to Wilder. Wilder looking for space, got back to the original line of scrimmage, which was the Ottawa 51, but no further. On that, setting themes early in a season, I believe the Elks have something they're calling win, which is what's important now. Same sort of thing, same sort of focus that we're seeing on the Ottawa side.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, players really gravitate to it. I mean, I remember when Mark Trestman in his championship year in Montreal said everything matters. You know, and I think players love it.
Here's Harris looking deep over the middle. Darrell Walker, and he's got him. Walker at the 20, down to the 15. Biggest play of the game for the Elks.
It'll be first down for your Elks.
Gets a little bit of running motion. This is another aspect of the Canadian Football League that can create some wide open spaces because any receiver can be in motion going downhill. Walker uses it to his advantage.
Harris, 3 receivers to his right. That one, picked off the other way. Here's an opportunity again. Abdul Kenna, can they catch him? He's at the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Red Blacks. Kenna flipping into the end zone. A pick 6 goes the distance, and Ottawa goes on top.
Nothing wrong with a defensive struggle and defensive playmaking, and this is a big one. The pick 6 from Abdul Kenna, and he gets it off a tip. The ball not quite as accurate as Trevor Harris would like it. Play action, throws it around the rush. It's a little bit low and inside, and Shai Ross tips it into the hands of Abdul Kenna, and he is gone.
Money back home. This is
his second interception of the game. The other one came into play with Shai Ross right there as well.
Golden ball.
There it is.
I love y'all.
Put his name on that thing.
Play good defense. Get a golden ticket to the cup.
Shit, boy. Take that shit to your hands, my nigga. Just shoot.
Ottawa on top for the first time tonight.
Hey, Bray.
102-yard return touchdown off the interception for Abdul Kenna. Last year, he had 1 interception. Tonight, he's got 2, including 1 that he took all the way home.
You're suggesting defensive player of the week, I would.
Tough to top this performance.
I would think. Yeah, I would think he's in the running.
First time I do one show, they gonna need 3 promoters. Yeah. Yeah.
Shai Ross had that ball bounce off his fingertips, and at that point there was really nothing he could do because Kenna had all the momentum going the other way. Lewis Ward out to make it a 4-point game. And that is right down the middle. Ottawa. Who needs offense when you got a defense that is playing like this one so far here tonight? Kenna, 102 yards to the house with the pick 6. Ottawa on top, 16-12.
His name on Twitter, but his teammate Maponga will get some credit here. This rush off the edge from Maponga, the rookie, is going to just distract Trevor Harris enough. You see how he tries to throw it around him? And as he throws it around him, it takes away from the accuracy. That's a little bit behind Shai Ross. Now, he tipped it right into the hands of Kenna, so he's got to be responsible too, and if he can't catch it, make sure it hits the turf. But that's what a pass rush can do. It can distract the quarterback enough.
Maponga was a 5th-round pick of the Atlanta Falcons back in 2013. Was with the Seattle Dragons in the XFL last time anybody saw him, and now here he is in Ottawa, and made a good point there, making a pretty big impact on what eventually ended up in a touchdown at the other end of the field.
Well, you flash in front of the quarterback, and his arm angle changes, and then the accuracy just deteriorates as the ball leaves his hands, and then now you compound that when Shai Ross reaches back and tips it up rather than trying to just grab it, and if he can't, it hits the turf. And Kenna says, thank you, goodbye.
Second longest pick 6 in franchise history for the Red Blacks. Gerald Vaughn, the record holder, 109-yarder. That was back in 2002.
If I'm Trevor Harris, I might go right after him right now. I think he's still tired. That's a long run. Walker out there, although he's got 2 tonight. I don't know if you... Hang on, let me rethink that.
Might not be the night to attack him again, Glenn. Here's Harris. Is he going to attack down the field? Far side. That is complete just inside the 15. Greg Ellingson's second catch of the evening with just over 9 minutes left and his team down by 4.
A little surprised that it's been that quiet for Greg Ellingson in this one. Just dropping into zone, and he just reads it and finds the soft spot to the wide side.
Last year in 2 games against Ottawa in 2019, it was kind of quiet for Ellingson as well, as they'll lug this one just over the 50. But Harris and Ellingson, as far as the league goes, among the best.
This is why I'm surprised. I mean, you look at the numbers, you look at the combination of Trevor Harris and Greg Ellingson. I mean, it is really quite remarkable. So and it'll happen. I mean, it's going to happen. It just depends. Sometimes coverage is taking Trevor Harris's read away from one of his favorite all-time targets since he's been in the CFL.
Ellingson with 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons and 6 straight campaigns with at least 100 catches as well. So he's been Mr. Consistency as much as you'll find in this league. They don't come more consistent than Greg Ellingson. We've got an injured Red Black down there. That is Pruneau, who was injured on this last play. We'll try to get an update when we return. Welcome back. Here's another look at what happened to Antoine Pruneau on this play. His head went into his own teammate there and reached immediately for his shoulder. He's a franchise leader in games played with 94, including tonight, but up and off under his own power, but obviously frustrated.
Yeah, it just first game of the year. They're holding that shoulder. Doesn't look good.
Trevor Harris, 2nd and 5 from his own 52, trailing. That's Ellingson again, and this time it'll go for a first down at the Ottawa 50. And another Red Black down on the field.
And I think with Pruneau, it was friendly fire. I mean, both his teammates kind of collided at the same time. This looks like it's Baltimore. What a great player Antoine Pruneau has been for the 7 years he's been in the Canadian Football League. As you mentioned, one of the original Ottawa Red Blacks, and has played linebackers, played safety. They've moved him to halfback. Now they're going to take a look at Baltimore.
The other 2 players still on this roster from the original team in 2014. Offensive lineman Nolan McMillan and defensive tackle Nigel Romick. Busy week 1 for you, Glenn, and firing it back up on Thursday. Lions and the Stampeders on Thursday, then Friday Night Football with the Argos and the Bombers. And then another doubleheader on Saturday. The Alouettes will be here in Edmonton, and the Tiger Cats, looking to bounce back after their week 1 defeat, will go up against the Riders, who hung on after having a great start in that game last night.
Well, it's just great to have Canadian football back.
It is, isn't it?
Have the fans back. Have the fans in the stands. That crowd noise when the offense from the visiting team is on the field. And hey, while we have a second, I just want to shout out to great friend and colleague in Dave Jamieson. Dave J has been going through cancer treatment, just finished surgery, and all the best to him in his recovery and rehab. He's going to be back at it on TSN Radio 1260. We do a segment every week, and I know he's watching tonight, so from all of us at TSN, get better soon, get well, get rehabbed, and get back at it.
I've worked for him for probably about 7 years. He's probably the best communication guy the league's ever had.
Yeah, one of them, absolutely.
And I've told him this a number of times, and there's a lot more to the story, but if it wasn't for Dave Jamieson, I probably wouldn't even be doing this. He was the guy who pushed me a lot in my career, so
nice.
Yeah, best of luck to Dave. I was texting with him today, actually, and it seems like things are trending in the right direction.
Yeah, great friend, and he's rehabbing, and he'll be back. So, hello to Dave, and keep at it.
2nd and 6 here on the Ottawa 46 for Harris. 3 receivers to his right. Here's Harris, pressure coming, and they got to him this time. Avery Ellis 7 sacks last year, tracks down Trevor Harris here on a big play in this football game with the Red Blacks up by 4, the midway point of the 4th quarter.
Well, that's just a nice bull rush off the edge.
Here's O'Neal. Davis is once again on the far side of the field. They're not going to try that again, are they? Not this time. Dedman stopped in his tracks just inside the 20 to a roar from the crowd here where the rain is falling at Commonwealth. 16-12, the Red Blacks lead. There's a look at Bob Dice having a chat there with one of his special team players after they tried to mix it up again here, Suits.
Yeah, Paul LaPolice, Dustin over here, you know, he talked about creativity. Bob Dice being creative. See how they got the 2 returners wide out like that? Remember the play they tried earlier in the game? That widens the cover team. Because now they have to be concerned with that guy out there.
Trying to open up a hole there for Devontae Dedman, who the Elks have been able to keep contained for the most part tonight. Now here's Nichols, finally with some time. But eventually, they get to him once again. He looked like he wanted to go to the right side of the field and then had to tuck it back in. And at that point, there was no other options as the Elks swarmed on him.
Yeah, I just like that creativity because the cover team can narrow down the field and they want to kick it into the corner to the returner, narrow it down so they don't have to cover as much ground. Now you put that other guy with that trick play in their mind.
When you've already done it.
You've already done it once. It was called back, but now you got to widen your cover team. But keep an eye on that because it might be a punt return that changes this.
2nd and 9 with less than 6 to play here for Nichols. He's got a 4-point lead. More pressure, and they get to him again. Kwaku Boateng delivers. That is not the Elk dance that we saw a little bit earlier on tonight.
Look away, look away. But we will look at the rush. We will look at the great pass rush. Look at the sprinter stance he's in. I mean, the football is about leverage, and the low man wins, and it's hard to get lower than Kwaku Boateng was on in that sprinter stance when he came off the ball.
Nichols now sacked 5 times here this evening. Leone just inside his own end zone. Big kick, bobbled. Williams will scoop it back up. But great downfield coverage. There is nowhere to go.
Go, baby. Check out Coach Maxi, though. Check out Coach Maxi.
Phenomenal season.
My brothers, much love. All love. Sacks racks. More sacks.
Could be the beginning of something pretty special with this line this year.
Yeah, and I think he's going to get double figures this year. I think he's going to get the Charleston Hughes year.
He's got 2 already. Here's Harris. He'll toss it out to Wilder this time. Wilder, pickup of about 14 or 15, and a nice way to start this drive for Edmonton.
Well, they've been patient with it. You know, Jamie Elizondo has been keeping that balance. Both these coaches, offensive coordinators and head coaches, have stuck with their game plan and stayed in the chess match because the score is within 1 possession. So they're not getting impatient. They're not trying to just continue or try to sling it deep.
Harris quickly out to Walker. And Walker is wrapped up and taken down once again by Kenna.
You know, in some ways, you want to see the big play, obviously, but you get impatient is when mistakes happen. And by doing this, they're also respecting the play of the defense and respecting the coordinators. You know, and yes, you want to be aggressive. I get all that, but they've kept their run game involved. 1 possession game, 3 minutes to go. Anybody's football game.
2nd and 6. Walker to Harris's left. He looks to his right. He goes to his right. That is complete. Shai Ross makes a couple of men miss and takes it down inside the 35.
athletic. We've talked about that, but he's, now he's got to take every game another step. It didn't hurt him here, but this can be dangerous when you catch that in on 2nd down and 8, and you need 8. Catch it, turn upfield, and get the 1st down. He danced backwards a couple steps. Didn't hurt him this time.
1st and 10 from the 35. Harris rolling to his right. Now over the middle. Is that picked off? Yes! Randall Evans slides underneath it. The Red Blacks defense gets the job done again for the 3rd time in this game. Randall Evans with the turnover.
Rondo changes it up and puts his fullback out here in the wide out position. That's James Tuck, and he's expecting man defense from the Ottawa Redblacks and having a DB or linebacker step out in man. Well, Ottawa plays zone, and Randall Evans is a deep 3rd player with Tuck crossing the fullback, a guy who's not used to running routes. The DB beats him to the ball.
Shout out to the family. We love y'all. We rocking right now. Let's get it.
They're going to need more of those golden balls if this defense is going to make plays like they have here tonight this season. Nichols now with a good drive could seal this away. He'll hand it off to Flanders. Hasn't found much room tonight. That's one of his better carries of the evening as he picks up about 8 on 1st down.
The one thing you do is when you put James Tuck, your fullback / tight end, as a wide receiver, you're hoping that it's going to be a man look and one of the linebackers will walk out with them. Now you know a man matchup and you can attack whatever matchup you want. If they don't walk out, which they didn't, now you got a zone look and you go to the receiver side. So, whether you look at it from Trevor Harris's point of view or the coach's call, boy, Ottawa took advantage.
Nichols, screen pass, Davis tried to make a quick move, and boy, considering how well he has played tonight, that's a great job by that defense to get over there and stop. They only needed to pick up 2 yards.
They've been good on sudden change. I mentioned it earlier, but they've been good on sudden change. It's like you come in with this. A lot of times after a turnover, defenses will walk on the field with their heads hanging low a little bit. They think, oh boy, we threw a pick, we walk out, we got to get a stop. Noel Thorpe's got him on sudden change, playing tough football. Now they got to see on this short yard.
Big fellas out here for the visitors. Dominic Davis looking for half a yard. He'll push ahead, and he falls to where he likely needs to be on a little bit of a roll-off. That should be more than enough for him to keep this Ottawa offense on the field with just over 2 minutes on the clock.
Now, offensively, I know Matt Dunnigan's sitting back in the studio, or actually, he's remote.
That's right.
he's remote. But he's sitting there back there going, on sudden change offensively, I guarantee he would tell you, I'd walk out there and go deep. I'd go right after him on sudden change. You get the turnover, step on the field, and sling it deep. Ottawa hasn't done that in sudden change. They've got turnovers from their defense. They come out and they're just playing their patient offense.
Less than 2 to go. Nichols will hand it off to Flanders. Flanders bounced off 1 tackle, and it took 2 Elks to track him down at the 40. Pretty good pickup on 1st down, and it'll be second in a very manageable situation for this Ottawa offense, who hasn't moved the ball extremely well here tonight, but a real chance to seal this thing away now.
Well, and that's the bottom line. All that really matters is that.
Yep.
And so all of the things we're talking about are great in theory, and this is sort of how you do it, big picture. But when the score is this tight, you play a little tighter.
2nd and 3. Back to Flanders. Decent second push, might have got about a yard. This will be 3rd and longer than what we just saw a few moments ago. And this might be punting territory here for Leone.
Boy, all that police taking a real close look. I mean, if it's close to a yard or more, it doesn't even have to be, I don't think, a full yard. And I think You got to kick this football away.
Timeout, Edmonton.
And it is a full yard, maybe just a little bit beyond that. So solid decision by Paul LaPolice. Got his punt team out there. Occasionally now in this situation, Edmonton might go punt safe, meaning they basically put defensive personnel on the punt return team. They still have a returner back there, but they want to protect against any sort of trick play, although that would be real gutsy with a 4-point lead on your own side of the field.
Trevor Harris, 16 career game-winning drives. He's not going to have a lot of time, but he'll have enough time to put together another one if he's able to do it against this Ottawa defense that the last 5 drives, last 5 possessions for Edmonton, interception, punt, interception, punt, interception. Second half, Ottawa's defense came to play.
I'm good with this kind of game.
Yeah.
I'm real good with it. And you know what? This is Ottawa plays. This isn't, a real bad decision by the quarterback. This isn't a bad throw. I mean, the one tip, but beyond that, these are big plays by Ottawa. I mean, they're earning their picks.
Leone from his 30. Williams waiting. Hasn't broken loose yet tonight. He'll take this one at the 20. And he's wrapped up at about the 27, and that is where Harris, looking to take care of the ball on this drive, will head out onto the field.
Well, he thought he had an open Darrell Walker on the first one, and Kenna comes over from midfield almost and gets it. There's the tip. Now, that's not really on Trevor Harris completely, although the accuracy wasn't there on the throw. This one was just a personnel decision. Against his own with a fullback running across the middle, a receiver might beat Evans to the ball there. A fullback, it's harder. And 3 picks on the board.
Just the 3rd time in his career that he has thrown 3 interceptions in a game. Here's Walker. And they'll get a short gain on first down, 67 seconds on the clock.
Trevor Harris for Darrell Walker.
Antoine Pruneau back in the game at safety.
2nd and 5 on their own 33, down by 4. Inside a minute. Harris over the middle, that pass in behind Armonte Edwards. And he couldn't reach back and scoop it up. That'll bring up a huge 3rd down here for the Elks.
Yeah, and Antoine Pruneau was right there. Looked like he was trying to protect the shoulder a little bit, but good to see him back in the game. It didn't look good when he walked off, but it looks like he will be okay.
Harris, 3 receivers to his left. Has some time, comes across the line. That's complete for a first down to keep their hopes alive here at home on a Saturday night in week 1.
Veteran quarterback, pressure on. He looks, look at where he's looking, to the right. Looks straight at the field, little peek to Darrell, and then drops it to him. A little fly and die right on the sideline.
Harris, that's complete. Shai Ross at the 50 with 47 on the clock.
Trevor Harris told us, don't let, and he's been telling the young guys, don't let the game situation or a coach yelling or the other team trash talking speed up your mind. Stay in the moment and get it done.
Harris with some time finds Wilder. Wilder tied up at midfield. 36 seconds to work with as they creep into Red Blacks territory. Might get themselves in position here. They can take a couple of shots at it, Suits.
3-4 plays, 4 if you're efficient. Work the sideline here.
3 receivers to the right, wide side of the field for Harris. And that one complete to Ellingson just outside the 42.
That catch by Ellingson, the difference between, remember the tuck interception, that's the difference. A receiver understands how to block out with his body much better, is much more used to it. That's what Ellingson did there to make the catch.
Got to move quick now. Less than 30. Harris. Ellingson again. Ellingson will take it down to the 31 this time. And that's a fresh set of downs with 20 on the clock.
16 seconds those last 2 plays. So you've got 2, maybe 3 more.
Harris works from just outside the Ottawa 30. Wilder pushes off of a man, gets it inside the 20, dives out of bounds with 7 seconds on the clock.
Harris for James Wilder, scamper inside the 20.
Week 1 about to end with a bang here, one way or the other at Commonwealth.
Comes down to this play.
We do not have an offensive touchdown in this game just yet. Maybe just one last crack at it here for Trevor Harris. Works from the 17 of Ottawa. Leads the end zone for the win. Harris in trouble. Dumps it off underneath. Tuck trying to push towards the end zone, and he comes up just short. My goodness, what a finish in Commonwealth. The Red Blacks are going to hang on. Harris looking and saying, was he down? They're saying no.
Well, the officials are huddling up. Let's take a look. We'll try and put the clock in and see if we can see if he was down by contact before the end of the game. Zeros.
Oh,
I don't think so.
I think she was over.
Command Center is reviewing the clocks. Command Center, after review, the Command Center reviewed the clock, went down to zeros, ball game's over.
The review confirms what we thought. Game is over and it ends at the 1 yard line, Suits. My goodness.
And it does. And Abdul Kenna right there.
Close the door.
2 picks. Stop the winning touchdown on the 1 yard line. There's your player of the week on defense.
What a finish for week 1. And what do you take away from this for Ottawa?
Well, great
Final score in today's game, the Ottawa
road
Red
win
Blacks 16 here in Edmonton.
for Paul LaPolice and the Ottawa Red Blacks, but I love the defensive chess match tonight. Trevor Harris and the Edmonton Elks back to the drawing board. But great defenses on both sides. I mean, this was a defensive battle. Elks played well on that side of the ball. Also, there they are, Noel Thorpe and Mike Benavides.
Matt Nichols, we talked about it at the beginning of the game tonight. He's a winner, and he managed to get it done here tonight with the help and strength of obviously an excellent defensive effort. The Red Blacks come into Edmonton and ruin the Elks party. 16-12, the final for Glenn Suter. I'm Dustin Nielsen. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Let's send it to Sports Center with Nikki Reyes and Jermaine Franklin.